Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk to you about a topic which has created such a furor in India that it is unbelievable. Mr. Santosh Iyer, who's taking over as managing director of Mercedes, has said that it's such a nice and correct statement that he has made, because social security cover is very less, not adequate. People tend to save money, and therefore that money which could have come into buying luxury products is not coming into luxury products, but it is being saved, because Indians save not only for themselves but also for their children. This is an absolutely true statement. It is not Mercedes versus SIP kind of a nonsense which has been created. The truth is Indians save more, much more, especially the richer Indians who even refuse to call themselves rich. I have friends with net worth of 25 crores, I have friends with net worth of 200 crores, they all call themselves middle class. If 200 crores is middle class, I have no clue who is rich, right? So here they are, they will have 2-3 cars, they will have 2-3 flats all over the country, and they would have ESOP bulging, they would have SIPs, they would have equity mutual funds, but it does not help them spend money. Too many of them are very scared to spend money. And it's also not what Mr. Santosh Iyer has said is absolutely right, because my friend's father last month must have spent, or last 45 days, must have spent upwards of 52 lakhs or 53 lakhs on hospitalization, medicines, etc. When that kind of a number you hear, whether it is your father or whether it's your friend's father, it unnerves you and makes you think that, oh my God, how much more do I really need? Because you have no clue how much you need for your old age. You do not know how much you will spend, you do not know how long you will live, you do not know how much of the of your telephone bills will go unreimbursed by the insurance company. All these skills, all these worries scare you. You do not know what returns you will get. You do not know when the Modi government will levy some kind of a tax on anything that you do. So, I mean, last 8 years we have only seen taxation going up if you are middle class or upper middle class, right? Can there be wealth tax? All these things keep worrying a person, and we are, as a nation, maybe we are worriers. Forget buying a Mercedes. Many of the people I know with net worth of say 5-6 crores over and above what they really need will not take a business class flight to go to meet their kids in US or Canada. They would continue to travel by economy. There is no reason why they can't travel by business class. Why do they save? Why do they need to grow their wealth? No clue, because the children are settled abroad, they have a lot of money, but these people will just not spend, because it takes, if you have been very insecure in your childhood, it takes a lot of effort to be able to spend money, right? So it takes time to overcome all those fears. So as a rule, we don't buy a Mercedes, and Mercedes here is Mr. Santosh Iyer has said about Mercedes because he works in Mercedes. I am using Mercedes as symbolic to say, if you have money, will you indulge? The chances are very remote that they will indulge. Forget buying a Mercedes. Would they just go and stay in a 5-star hotel for 4 days and run up a bill of 1.5 lakhs? Very, very unlikely. 1.5 lakhs is a one-time commitment, right? Mercedes is an 80 lakh rupee commitment plus running charges, plus maybe you will use a driver costing about 28,000-30,000 rupees. So all those costs, there are running costs involved, right? So, and a typical reaction at 60 would be, where am I now going to go? I'm retired. Just to go from point A to point B, I don't need. So, of course, there are people I know who have been in senior posts, who have kept for themselves a nice BMW and a driver and things like that. There are people, but they are the exceptions. And the exceptions are, these are people with 40-50 crores kind of net worth, not people with 15-18 crores, because this 15-18 crores has not come to them very quickly, right? It has been assiduously built up by doing SIPs, by buying shares, by getting ESOP, by inheriting some house. some real estate appreciation, and all that put together has become 18 crores. Now this person can't even think he's got 18 crores. So let me tell you a story. This is unbelievable. 2004, I was doing training in Ahmedabad. It was a 3-day training. There was one guy who was sitting in the very front rows and looking at me with his mouth open. It took him a day and a half to even have the guts to talk to me, right? This is very typical non-metro behavior. I shouldn't be calling Ahmedabad non-metro, but we are talking of 2003, 2004. ULIPs had just been introduced, and I was doing a training for a big insurance company. And it was a 3-day training. So 1.5 days later, he comes to me and talks about asset allocation. And he says, oh, how much should I? And looking at him, he must have been about 54, 55 or maybe 50. I don't remember his face very clearly, but I remember the question very clearly. So I had seen him come, I had seen him leave. It was a very ramshackle old scooter. And he had, I think it was leaned against the wall. Maybe the stand was broken, perhaps. I'm not very sure. And he came to me and said, sir, what kind of asset allocation should I do? So I said, well, at your age, I think maybe 50-50 should be good enough. You should have 50% in debt and 50% in equity. And then I had to ask him, how much money do you have? And so he said about 18. I said, yeah, about 9 lakhs in debt. And he said, no, sir, 18 crores. Remember, 2003 or 2004 introduction of ULIP by an insurance company. So here is this guy who wants to be an agent or who's already an agent selling life insurance products, selling mutual funds, and with a net worth of 18 crores. Assuming nothing has happened since then, 2003 you're talking of a 3000 index, today you're talking of a 60,000 index, or 20 times the index has gone. Even assuming his net worth has gone up 10 times, it is 180 crores, right? That's the kind of money this man had, 18 crores. So I think it's also about the community. The same guy in Chandigarh would have come in a Mercedes Benz and perhaps with a black cat, right, to protect him more as a status symbol. So it depends on state to state how people invest. So Gujarat, the guy would have that kind of money and he would not show off. In Punjab, he would have maybe 1/10 that money and he would show off more. Bombay is a mix. Some Mumbaikars can show off even when they don't have anything, and some Mumbaikars can buy a Mercedes and use it only in a poor suburb called Mulund or in Nerul, and everywhere else travel by train. All combinations exist. But will Indians go and indulge? I think that is not going to happen unless they are sure that somebody is going to take care of their medical bills, or somebody is going to take care of them in their old age. All these things are expensive, so people will get scared. And even beyond what people have, it takes a very, very long time to come out of the insecurity of thinking that I don't have enough money, right? Many people do think that they don't have enough money, even though they do have enough money. So what Mr. Santosh Iyer has said is, because of this insecurity, people tend to save more. If we can tap into that market, we will be able to sell more Mercedes. Now suppose, I'm not getting into RBS territory, but I'm saying, suppose Mercedes can start a SIP scheme where people can start saving 50,000 per month for a longish period, and that can be used as a base to make it as a base for creating a margin money or something for buying a Mercedes. Let us say 50,000 per year over 3 years would mean about 18 lakhs. Use that as a down payment and continue to pay 50,000. Use the car for another say 8, 9, 10 years by keeping on paying this 50,000, and then decide to trade in the car for another car, right? So all these things can happen, right? So maybe they'll think of some such product. Is it possible in this country? Very, very, very difficult, right? You have RBI saying, oh, you should have 100% margin and things like that, or some fly-by-night operator coming, creating a SIP for cars and then running away. All these risks are there. I'm not even getting into whether we should not. But trying to tap into the market which is doing SIP is not such a bad idea, and that is what he is telling his sales team. To think, oh, it is Mercedes versus SIP is more important, Mercedes is not important, it is all complete humbug nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. He's not creator. He's not saying don't do SIP, buy a Mercedes. He's made a very simple statement. And then somebody, I mean, these days there are there is one person making a statement, somebody doing an interview, and far more important than both these people, somebody who creates the headline, right? So if I write an insurance article, the headline has to be, if you died tonight, what would happen, right? So that will attract more attention than saying take term insurance. So somebody has, all this combination has worked towards this headline saying Mercedes versus SIP kind of a thing. What he has said is something very simple, and it is the truth that Indians don't spend. I'm not getting into reasons, it's a separate video, but I don't see any controversy in this. So anyway, have fun such with such articles, clickbaits, whatever. So I'm also riding the bandwagon and doing this Mercedes versus SIP kind of a thing. Thank you.